José G aquí para Lucha Libre Online, el Metro y el Calce. Lucha Libre Online, la marca número 1 en español. Nadie lo hace mejor. Y mi invitado en este momento es un veterano de la lucha libre puertorriqueña. Él fue ex campeón múltiples veces en Puerto Rico y ahora está luchando el 1 de abril en Old Town Kissimmee para WWC Florida Inception, donde tendrá una oportunidad de luchar por el título el señor Mr. High Value, Brent Dail. Brent, how are you, my friend? Thank you for being on Lucha Libre Online today.
What's going on, my man? How you doing, man? It's an honor to be here. Thank you. You guys have always taken care of me. Listen, a little bit of history, y'all got with me like 2 years ago when I was going through a hard time, going through a divorce, and you guys called me and said, hey, listen, man, we want to do a little interview on you. You guys don't realize how much you just boosted my confidence because I was literally down in the dumps. And I really do appreciate it. And you sparked something. So look where I am now, 2 years later. I'm sitting here, I'm in a world title tournament, and I'm sitting there and, hey, I'm blessed. So the way I look at it.
Well, Brand, we here at Lucha Libre Online are very grateful that you took the time to talk to us and talk to us about the upcoming show here in April. But first, I wanted to talk to you about your career, man, because you spent a great part of your career tenured in Puerto Rico, specifically WWC, no relation to WWC in Florida, but you were multiple-time junior heavyweight champion. How important was Puerto Rico to you and WWC to your overall career?
Oh, it was wonderful because it was just the way it happened is I got Gerald Briscoe sent me down there. I was an amateur wrestler, came out of college and All-American out of college, was a state runner-up and all that stuff. Not going to go into all that, but yeah, pedigree speaks for itself. But anyway, so long story short, Gerald Briscoe sent me down there as kind of a thing. IWA was interested in me at the beginning, and I don't know what happened. I got no problem because I was coming out of Dory Funk's camp at the time. I was just looking for a job. I didn't care where it was. I was green as a blade of grass, and I didn't care. So anyways, I talked to Dutch Mantel. He was interested in me. So Savio Vega, I remember them calling my house. My dad was like, a Savio Vega and a Dutch Mantel are on the phone. I was like, okay. So I talked to him. And the next thing I know, Gerald Briscoe calls me and said, listen, how about, don't worry about IWA. What about going to World Wrestling Council? I said, yeah, awesome. I said, he goes, you know about them? I said, oh, yeah. I used to read the wrestling magazines when I was a kid. Carlos Colon and Abdul the Butcher. Oh, yeah. No problem. So he sent me down there, and when they did, it was actually a funny story. They dropped me off there. I walked up. You remember Athletico, the referee?
Mm-hmm.
He sees me at the airport, and he did not speak a lick of English at the time. And he has a sign that there goes Brent Dail on it. I go, come up. I said, I'm him. He goes, I'm coming. I was like, okay. Vamos. I'm like, all right. So I go ahead and get in the car. We drive to the office real quick. I kid you not. I literally spoke to Carlos for not even him and Jovica for maybe 2 minutes. I walk in, they go, all right, we're in Juana Diaz on Thursday. You better be there. I said, how do I get there? They go, I don't know, figure it out. I was like, all right. So they drive me back to the hotel, drive me to the Dahlia, famous Dahlia Kinsey. So I'm there. Next thing I know, I called Gerald Briscoe up. I said, hey, and back then we didn't really have cell phones because it was 2002. Pick up a payphone. I'm talking to him. He goes, you get down there? Yep. Everything good? Yep. You got your first date? I said, yep. He goes, all right. How you feeling? I said, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. I don't speak Spanish around here. He says, well, welcome to the wrestling business. Call me in 3 months. Click. I was like, I guess I'm on my own. So that was pretty much it. And it was one of those things of sink or swim. So I swam. Throw me to the wolves. I'll come back reading the pack. That's how I look at it. So, that's really the best way I can describe that. And I loved it there. It was so much fun. I had so much fun. I enjoyed it so much, and it was just great. So go ahead.
Now, WWC here in Florida, the show that's going to be going down on April 1st, not directly connected to WWC in Puerto Rico, same spirit, same energy.
A lot of people that worked for World Wrestling Council.
Yes.
Let's go ahead.
Now, what was your initial reaction when you got that phone call? Be like, hey, we want you to be part of the first show. Oh, and by the way, you may have a chance to wrestle for the world title, inaugural world title. What was initial reaction, and what
Let's do
feel
it.
any pressure with all that?
Let's do it. Let's do it. You know why? Because the guys that are owning right now, I'm not going to really mention their names, but you know, I would, but you know, I don't know if they want me to say it. I worked with a lot of those guys in PR. I had so many matches with those guys, like the guys that are, I mean, come on, like from Rico Suave to Bruno to Santos, the guys that are a lot of the guys that are involved. I had so many, I lost count. So the thing is though, is I trust them because I look at it like this. If you guys want to do something, apparently it's legit. And then I started looking at all the people that are involved and I go, this ain't no typical indie. So I was like, why not? So that's kind of how I look at it. I go, whatever you want me to do, let's do it. And they're like, you want to be in the world title tournament? Sure, let's do it. And that's kind of the type of person I am. I just put my head down and I keep going. So, yeah, but all day I was excited. I was like, let's do it. So, you know.
I think that's incredible that a lot of the OG fans that watched you back in the day in WWC in the early 2000s are going to have a treat to see you here in Florida, in Old Town and in Kissimmee for WWC Florida. Speaking of WWC in Puerto Rico, WWC celebrating 50 years, bro, 50-year anniversary.
Yeah, I know. It's wonderful.
Your career is deeply rooted in WWC. You won multiple titles and you even won the Universal title one time, but it was never recognized in the business. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened there and what are your best memories and moments and matches that you had during your time in WWC?
All right. Well, really how all that happened was did a couple of indie shows when I came back from WWC. I actually had a tryout with WWE. I went to Deep South and it was kind of like, actually, Undertaker got me the tryout there because he was impressed with me. He actually got in the ring with me and worked with me. And he was like, dude, this guy's good. Send him. Vince McMahon, for some reason, does not like Brent Dail. He don't like me. I don't know whatever I did. I didn't piss at his cornflakes. I don't know what the hell I did to his ass. But for some reason, Gerald Briscoe would always tell me, he goes, we're going to make a lot of money with you. We're going to make a lot of money with you. And then one time I come back and he calls me up and says, I don't think Vince McMahon is sold on Brent Dail. And I go, so what do I do? Well, you can go home or whatever, or you can stay in Puerto Rico and make a name for yourself. What do you want to do? I said, I think I'm going to stay here and make a name for myself. He goes, all right, well, you do what you got to do. I said, all right. And he said, you never know what's going to happen after that. So I was like, I was keep going for tryouts like for 5 straight years. I mean, every year I was going in for a tryout. For some reason, I don't know what it was. I don't know what I did to the guy, but for some reason, he never liked me. And I was like, what'd I do to you? I was like, whatever, man. So anyways, long story short, because Gerald straight up said it. He don't like you. Why?
Man,
I don't know. But anyways, long story short. So I go to, I'm sitting there, I'm working. The Universal title picture was basically like this. I had an argument with Carlos and Jovica because I was trying to move up and there was a lot of guys in the higher up that wanted to work with me, from Brian, who was the Universal champion, a bunch of them. They basically told me that I was not a draw. And I looked at him, I said, what? Who's drawing your houses right now? Oh, you draw as a package. You don't draw as the draw. I go, okay. I said, so I sat there and I listened to him and I said, you know what, whatever. So I left, talked to Apollo later on. We're sitting there. I got this great offer. It was just coincidence. Honestly, it was just coincidence. What ended up happening was this promoter that was doing this show, he offered big money. He offered $1,000 for a freaking indie match. Most people do not offer that for an indie match. He offered $1,000 and he said, I'll pay you $1,000. Who do you want to work with? And I go, Apollo. And he goes, I know him. I said, okay, can you call him? I said, sure, not a problem. I called up Apollo. I said, hey, man, you want to work with me? He goes, oh, hell yes. I said, all right. He goes, I'm the Universal champ. I said, even better. I said, why don't you come up to freaking Palmetto, Florida and work? He said, how much you paying? I told him. He goes, sign me up. So I called the guy. I told him what's up. He got him a plane ticket. He went up there. We wrestled. We have a barn burner of a match. and I knocked him out with a chain, and I lay claim to the Universal Championship. That's really it. I mean, he didn't have the belt on him or anything like that, but in sense of boxing, the lineal champ is the guy who is the champion at the time. If you beat him, you are the lineal champion. So that's why you see that title in the back. Now, I ain't putting myself over, but the thing is, hey, listen, it ain't bragging if it's true. You can't really do, and it's been since 2007. So I'm like, okay, nobody's beat me since. So I'm sitting here being the champion and I'm not trying to say this being whatever. I'm not trying to say this being arrogant, but I'm just telling you what the truth. So it's me like this. I say, listen, I know what I can do. So when I go in there, I'm the type of guy that I'm willing to train. As I learned from Dan Gable and Alexander Karelin. Those were the guys that were my inspirations in amateur wrestling. I carried it over to pro wrestling. People are like, oh, this will work. They said, you know what, whatever. You know, if you believe it, the people will believe it. That's how I look at it. And the way I look at it, it's just like Roddy Piper told me back a long time ago, like Johnny Valentine told him. This crap might not be real, but you better believe I'm real. The way I look at it is, I'm real. And so when Carlos Colon one time said to me, he goes, you remind me of Johnny Valentine. I go, oh, cool. Thank you for the compliment.
That's great. I think that is absolutely great. Brent, now your event on April 1st, you're going to be facing off Blitz, Rabioso. He's one of the upcoming youngsters coming out of WWC in Puerto Rico, making his debut in WWC Florida. One of the questions that I like to ask a lot of the veterans who've been doing this for a long time, how important is it for you, as being already part of this business for such a long time, 15 plus years, to work with the younger talent and elevate the younger talent?
I don't mind doing that, the type of thing. But the thing is, though, as I look at it in this business, is you better have something to you. All right. Now, Blitz, I know, is a great competitor. You know, he's been around a long time. I don't know how young he is, but, you know, he's probably close to my age, you know, whatever. But anyways, but, you know, he wrestled in IWA. You know, they had that little controversy down there. But the funny part is they didn't win anything because I already had the title before they did anything. So that's the thing is, you know, so that all that bull crap that happened down there, whatever. But long story short, Blitz, I know is tough. I have tremendous respect for him. I think he did a fantastic job in IWA. And the way I look at it is, we're going to war, brother. We're going to war. And who's the better man? That's how I look at it. So if you're the better man, I'll shake your hand and say you're the better man. If I beat you, I expect the same. So that's how I look at it. So, you know.
Well, Brent, we want to thank you here at Lucha Libre Online. We wish you luck. We hope you do great on the tournament at WWC's Florida's Inception, which goes down April 1st here in Orlando, Florida. All the tickets to the event will be available in the link in the description. Damas y caballeros, le damos las gracias a Brent Dail por estar con nuestra entrevista de hoy. Para toda la información acerca del evento de WWC Florida aquí en Orlando, WWC Florida Inception, toda la información va a estar disponible en el enlace en los comentarios ahí abajo. So asegúrese de comprar sus taquillas y atender WWC Florida Inception el 1 de abril. And before we let you go, Brent, we always like to give this platform to all of our guests to follow you on all of our social media. So where can people follow you on socials?
Okay, with Instagram is getting kind of blowing up because I do those interviews every day. I don't know, I'm sure you've probably seen them where I do like every day. It's just a motivational thing. I look at it, what happened was I started doing it for fun because I like doing it. So I was like, all right, why not? I playing around, playing music, stuff like that. Next thing I know, people were like, start DMing me saying, I stopped doing it one day, and somebody goes, why didn't you do one today? What? And they go, you didn't do one? And next thing I get a couple more, and I go, can you keep doing those? I actually feel good about it. And I go, okay. So I started doing it ever since because it gives people hope. It gives them motivation to do better. And I look at it like this. How can I sit here and motivate you to be the best if I'm not doing what I need to do to be the best? So the way I look at it is, this is my journey. So follow the journey. If you do, if great. If not, you don't want to follow, that's fine. But that's how I am. But on social media, you can find me at, I had to get a new one. So I think it's Dail Brent on Instagram. You put in Brent Dail, that's probably what will come up. Brent Dail. And with Facebook, I have Brent Dail at Facebook. And then I also have a fan page, which is the High Valued Man, Brent Dail, you know, that type of thing. And then I have a YouTube channel with Federation of World Fighters. Or FWF Fighters is the name of the YouTube channel. So, you know, I just do what I got to do, you know, and I kind of feel like that, you know, Jose, we just, you know, we ought to be, the people that are in this business, we ought to be fortunate that we're in it, because not everybody can do it. Not everybody can do this. You know, I respect everybody that's in the business that will lace up their boots and do what needs to be done. Now, when you get in the ring with me, you better be ready for a fight. I don't care who you are. So you can be Triple H to Kenny Omega, or you can be Ric Flair. I don't care. You're going to be ready for a fight when you got in this ring. That's how I look at it. So I just feel like that we have some good stuff going here. I'm very confident in this company. This is actually one of the first companies that I'm actually looking at going, that's trying to get going, that I look at and go, because of the people behind it, I'm like, there's something there. So if not, you know, it's enough to where I'm asking investors to see if they want to invest. And normally with most indie like, yeah, okay, maybe they'll do another show one day. I don't know, you know. So that's how I look at it. But no, Jose, no, this has been great. You know, I mean, is there anything else you want to talk to me about or anything?
That is it. We really appreciate your time, Brent. Thank you for doing this. Muchas gracias por estar aquí en Lucha Libre Online. Again, Mr. High Value, Brent Dail, no se lo pierdan, el 1 de abril en WWC Florida Inception, aquí en Orlando, Florida. We appreciate you.
So I'm going to leave you with this. So we can say this, and I can say this to all of my competition in WWC Florida. Yo soy es mejor que tú, porque soy el hombre de alto valor, the high value man, Brent Dail. You better be ready.
Mr. High Value, Brent Dail. Thank you so much. Para Lucha Libre Online, El Metro y El Calce, soy José González, Lucha Libre Online, la marca número 1 en español. Nadie lo hace mejor. Nos vemos la próxima vez.